الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله الله إلا كافة للناس بشيرا ونذيرا وداعيا إلى الله بإذنه وسراجا منيرا أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون أما بعد فقد قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه العزيز أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي صدق الله العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Honorable gathering, brothers and sisters, we praise and thank Allah SWT for making this Jummah possible for us today. There are many of our brothers and sisters who are unable to come to the masjid. Many of them are ailing. So we thank Allah SWT for allowing us to be here in His house in responding to His call. As Allah reminds us in the Quran, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O you who believe, idha nudiya lis-salati min yawmil jumu'ah. When the prayer of Jummah has been proclaimed, this prayer, when the call has been proclaimed, the call of the adhan, fas'aw ila dhikrillahi wa dharul bay'. Leave off whatever you are doing, no matter how important it might be. Leave off whatever you are doing, fas'aw ila dhikrillahi wa dharul bay', and come to the remembrance of Allah. ذَلِكُمْ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ إِن كُنتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ. This action, this amal, this deed that you have done is better than anything you can imagine. if you only know. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the understanding to be here on every Jummah, inshallah, when He allows us to see this day of Yawmul Jummah. It is the best day of the week, and it is our Eid, inshallah. So we commemorate this through the Jummah Salat and the Khutbah. Last week I spoke on an ayat of Quran, chapter 16, ayat number 90. And we make mention of 6 commands from Allah in that ayat. 6 commands. 3 is which we are commanded to do. And the other 3 is which we should try to prohibit from doing. Because it is very important. As we mentioned last week, Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu says that this ayat of the Quran is the most comprehensive ayat in the whole Quran. And when we understand this ayat, you know why he said that. So just to recap briefly, last week we spoke about 3 commands which we should be doing. First of all, Allah says in that you should, Allah commands justice. Allah commands justice between ourselves. And we went on to explain the different areas of this. And then the second command, Allah says that we should cultivate ihsan in everything that we do. Goodness, not just to do something, but the goodness in doing it. And the good the good of it. For example, you come to pray Salat. Salat is something very good and established by Allah. I mean, commanded by Allah. But then if we pray Salat carelessly, then what is the purpose? So even though the intention might be good, but the action is not fulfilling the intention. So we need to excel in our actions, so to speak, for Allah to accept our good deeds. And that is why He tells us to cultivate ihsan in everything that we do. Right? And that is a wide topic by itself. And then the last thing Allah commands us to do is to وَإِيتَاءِ ذِي الْقُرْبَى, to ensure that you give your relatives their due. And this also is a wide area in everything that we can help our family members and do it in the best possible way to help us and to help them. And may Allah SWT accept that from us, inshallah. So those are duties of commission. We are commissioned to do that. It is a command from Allah. Right? Inna Allah ya'muru bil adl. Verily Allah commands you to do this. And as I mentioned last week, we are here every Friday and we hear this ayat every Friday in the second part of the Khutbah. So I hope, inshallah, we have been benefited by it as we conclude the second part of the Khutbah today, or the second part of the topic today, in looking at the other 3 things which Allah says you should not do. And we need to bear in mind, doing what Allah commands is the right thing. Doing what Allah commands is the right thing. Not doing what Allah forbids is also the right thing. Not doing what Allah forbids is also the right thing. Doing what Allah forbids is the wrong thing. Doing what Allah forbids is the wrong thing. And not doing what Allah commands is also the wrong thing. So we have to sift it out and know what is right and what is wrong. In this segment, duties of omission, there are 3. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make mention, and this is in the same ayat, anil fahasha'i wal munkari wal baghi. 3 things. And the first is fahisha. Fahisha is something, we need to get more explanation on this word because it is so wide in scope. And this means, when Allah speaks about fahisha, it means everything that is shameful. Everything. Whether secretly or openly. And avoid fahsha, avoid shameful actions. So far it also applies to our thoughts. And we need to understand that when Allah says about avoid fahisha, it means not only in public but also in secret as well. Because Allah is always watching and Allah is always seeing. So fahisha is such an evil action that every time somebody hears about it, it will automatically come to the mind it is something bad. The time somebody sees you do such an action, they will know that that is something extremely bad. They don't have to make no comment on it. They don't have to think twice. This is fahisha. Shameful actions, right? And we need to safeguard ourselves from that because the world today is full of fahisha. The world today is turning away from the guidance of Allah. The world today is bringing more fahisha into the lives of human beings than goodness. And many people are following in that direction, right? You have gay marriages, you have female marriages, you have this and that and all sorts of things, right? And all these things are now becoming known and public, and some countries they are making it lawful. So just imagine, what is the price we have to pay for that? The world have to pay a price for disobedience of Allah. And we are seeing the price already facing mankind. So if mankind do not recheck and reflect upon themselves and turn back to Allah, well then there is no way ahead of us that will be good. We ask Allah as believers to protect us and our families and our children to come and our grandchildren. Because if now is in such a time it is so worse, you can imagine for down the road. In their time, what it will be like. So my dear brothers and sisters, fahisha is something we should be aware of and try our best to stay away from it, whether publicly or secretly. The next point Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made mention, before I come to the other point, Allah gives us the answer for every problem, Allah gives us the answer for every problem. For example, one of the things we can prevent ourselves from fahisha is our salah. If we really put iman into our salah and understand the purpose why Allah, commands us to pray. For example, He says in the Quran, فَأَقِمُوا الصَّلَاةَ, establish the salah, establish it. Not just to pray, establish. It's like you have a business, you have an establishment. You don't open one day and close the next day. You don't open when you feel to open and you have customers waiting. That is not an established business. You are doing it how you want to do it. So establishing the salah means the prerequisites of salah and the requisites of salah. Allah says, فَأَقِمُوا الصَّلَاةَ إِنَّ صَلَاتِي تَنْهَى عَنِ الْفَحْشَاءِ وَالْمُنكَرِ. See, the word fahsha comes in this ayah. Establish salah because salah prevents you from fahsha. Salah prevents you from doing shameful things. So if we are still committed to do shameful things, then something is wrong with our salah. So we need to go back and check that out, right? The second point Allah make mention is wal munkar. Fahasha wal munkar. Munkar is translated to be evil deeds. And evil deeds is not concise to one particular action. Evil deeds can be in a general sense, right? Because it is so easy to do evil rather than to do good. And sometimes what we feel we are doing, although it is evil, we feel it is right, is another important point. Remember, Allah and Allah alone, through His beloved Messenger ﷺ, is the only legislator for what is right and what is wrong. The only authority. And Allah SWT gave Rasulullah ﷺ the full authority that they cannot come to goodness unless they follow you, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So, evil deeds, what does that mean? everything that is unlawful, everything that is not permissible, every action that is displeasing to Allah, whether minor or whether major. It includes all sins. It includes all sins. Munkar means all sins. So don't take no sin for granted and say, well, that's a small sin. We need to bear in mind, brothers and sisters, that why you think Allah make mention in chapter 3 of the Quran, ayat number 110. Most of you are familiar with this ayat. But it supports this ayat of the Quran that we are looking at. And Allah is speaking about us, the believers. And He says, "Kuntum khayra ummatin ukhrijat linnas." And we need to understand why Allah is telling us this. Allah is saying to us that you are the best. Khayra means the best. There's nothing better than best. You have good, better, best. Allah did not say you are a good ummah or that you are a better ummah. He said you are the best ummah. Kuntum khayra ummatun ukhrijat linnas. And you have been, your responsibility, our responsibility. We have been raised up, we have been evolved, raised up to show mankind what is right and what is wrong. This is our purpose. You are the best ummah because you have been evolved among mankind, raised up among mankind to show what is right and what is wrong. They do not know. And that is why the world is full of fahisha today. And we are the best ummah. Why? Because Allah gave to us the best, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He is the best of all of mankind. And Allah gave him an ummah and tell this ummah, you are the best of ummah. Why? The same words come back in this ayat again that we are reading. You are the best of people raised up for mankind. Why? Tamaruna bil ma'ruf wa tanhauna 'anil munkar. Because you keep away from what is wrong. You keep away from what is evil. You keep away from what is fahsha. And we ought to know this. If we want to be the best of people, we have to fulfill this ayah. We have to bring this ayah into our lives. Before this, the same word munkar is mentioned in this ayah. You stay away, you prevent yourself from doing evil deeds. And Allah says, وَتُؤْمِنُونَ بِاللَّهِ. Why? Because you believe in Allah. If you really believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then this ayat will come into your life. But it is not an easy thing because outside there is like a magnet pulling you towards it. And again, all these ayats fit in, I mean, why Allah says establish salah. And then we have to pray 5 times a day, not just once a week or only on Sundays, 5 times a day. With this institution in our system, it purifies us and helps us to be on this path of fulfilling the commands of Allah by doing what He says to do and abstaining from what He says not to do. So enjoining the right and forbidding the wrong. Right? Or perhaps many of us are still enjoying the wrong and forbidding the right. We need to check. And the last point in the ayah we are looking at, the point of omission. So you have fahasha, duties of omission, stay away from. You have munkar, duties of omission, stay away from. Now you have al-baghi. Baghi means to transgress. SWT could have used one word in this ayat which would have completed the whole ayat. But He's showing us the different angles and the different ways where we can sin. And not just sin, but commit serious sin. So Allah SWT says, Allah prohibits you from transgression. What is transgression? The only thing we can transgress on is the laws of Allah. Of course, we have to obey the laws of the land. If we transgress the laws of the land, we find ourselves in prison. But when we transgress the boundaries of Allah, because Allah set limits, everything. The law of the land have limits as well. Do not transgress those limits. Do not go beyond those limits. You'll find yourself in problem. So what about the limits of Allah? Allah gave us an area which we can stay inside it. And do not come outside of that. Do not transgress the limits of Allah. Do not transgress the boundaries of Allah. Because transgression is a contagious thing, you know. And when we transgress, we affect other human beings. Not only our own selves. Because we are transgressing the rights of others. And when we transgress the rights of others, they'll have wars, they'll have international conflicts. Transgression here also covers the word fahasha and also covers the word munkar. There is a beautiful hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, and listen to this hadith carefully because, if we are looking to better ourselves, we'll think about this hadith. The beloved Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in relation to this ayat of the Quran, chapter 16, ayat number 19. In relation to this ayat, the beloved Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, there is no sin except injustice for which the punishment comes quickly. You know why it's come quickly? You know what that means? You are going to get the punishment right here. There is no sin except injustice. Injustice covers all these three areas of omission. For which the punishment comes quickly, and the ultimate severe punishment will be in the life hereafter. The ultimate severe punishment will be in the life hereafter. But much more, this is the hadith, but much more happens before the hereafter. Much more happens in this world with that punishment before the hereafter's punishment. And the Prophet ﷺ went on to mention calamities, disasters. Isn't that what is happening in the world today? Look at the calamities, look at the natural disasters taking place across the globe. And in Muslim countries too, you know. Not only, don't feel just America or this place or that place, in Muslim countries as well. So we need to wake up, we need to check ourselves. We need to stay within the boundaries of Allah. Because the beloved Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, punishment for injustice will come quickly. It will come upon us in this same life, this very life. And the more severe punishment will be in the life hereafter. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us to ponder over what was said. May He help us as a Muslim community to learn from these disasters that we are seeing around us and check ourselves and ask ourselves, am I doing the right thing? We have to do what we have to do, brothers and sisters. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in control of everything, but He's teaching us lessons. Come back on track. And this is for the world at large, you know. But then, the world at large means we have to do our part to show them the right way. Because if we are not doing our part to show them the right way and we are the best of Ummah, how would they know? How would they know? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us and forgive us and have mercy upon us, and may He grant us the ability to change ourselves, and with that change will come around us in our family lives, in our community lives, and in the world at large. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله ولكم ولسائر المسلمين وكل ذنب أستغفره إنه غفور رحيم. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد بعدد من صلى وصام اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد بعدد من قعد وقام وصل على جميع الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى كل ملائكة المقربين وعلى عباد الله الصالحين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين اللهم ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما اللهم ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم عباد الله رحمكم الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون ولذكر الله تعالى أعلى وأعلى وأعز وجل وتم وحم أكبر أقيموا الصلاة